Andy Johnson, we're looking at some very simple tips for creating maze and close. Now, these are activities used to develop the semantic cueing system using context. Brain uses 3 of these to recognize words during the process of reading: semantic, context, meaning; syntactic, grammar and word order; and phonological, letter sounds. Now, we can create close to reinforce letter sounds or patterns simply by including a target word that has a target letter pattern in the sentence. Both of these can be used as pre or post reading activities. Now, story previews, I use these to create maze sentences, and post reading activities work best for the closed sentences, and I'll show you each. Now, very often I find myself, and you too, that there is not adequate teaching material to use. Commercial material most often doesn't meet the needs of all students. So the stuff that you buy is not designed for your students, and 98% of it does not address all 3 cueing systems. So you will be creating a lot of your own teaching material, and you experienced teachers know that already. I like PowerPoints as a medium because it can move effectively from one activity to the next, and you can store them from year to year. Now, here are some closed tips. Simple sentences are better than longer sentences. Now, this one is used to reinforce a short A sound. I had a B dream. I had a bad dream. There are 2 short A words. I'm reinforcing my short A lesson that I did the day before or did previously. And depending on students, I usually read it with them. I had a B and say just the beginning letter for the close. Target word must be abundantly clear and obvious. We are not challenging students. We are developing the semantic cueing system, the ability to use context clues. Time to a nap. What word makes sense there? And after doing a couple of these, you can do them in small group, large group, or individually. Students get the hang of this. Now, this activity takes, I would say, 2 to no more than 8 minutes a day. Use words that you know are in students' vocabulary and experience. And again, the simpler, the better. An example, I am glad to see you. And again, short A, it has the A word there. All these are words within most students' vocabulary. Keep the sentences on a single line on the PowerPoint when at all possible. And again, short, simple sentences, you see it fits in one row. I don't have to go to the next row. And I find myself, I go down a letter size if I find I'm creeping on to the next line. This is a level 2 activity. And again, you see the short A words, both hands and clapped. Keep the background simple. No fancy stuff. Don't put words or pictures or designs or other stuff on there. Just the sentences. Adam added too much salt. Both short A words. Use an abundance of sight words in a sentence. More is better than fewer. As you see, the, was, his are all sight words. I'm reinforcing that as well as the short A letter sound. And often I ask students to identify the short A words in the sentence after it is read. The maze, again, used to develop the semantic cueing system and reinforce letter sounds and patterns. I like the maze because students must analyze each individual word and identify the letter pattern. And students are given, as you'll see, either 2 or 3 choices of words. Now, tips again. Only the target words should make sense in the sentence. It was night. This was part of a story preview, by the way. It blank to go to sleep. It thank to go to sleep. It run to go to sleep. It time to. Only time makes sense in that sentence. And when I do this with students, I have them say blank right here. It was blank to go to sleep. I say that with them, read them with them, or sometimes they're able to read it by themselves. It was time to go to sleep. Maze mini story used as a post-reading activity. This one is. Now, when you're creating these, reread the sentence carefully to make sure that the other words do not make sense in any way in that sentence. Ricky blank in bed. Ricky will in bed, Ricky was in bed, Ricky packed in bed. Only one makes sense. The others create nonsense. And remember, reading is creating meaning with print, making sense of print, not making nonsense out of print. Emergent and beginning levels. It's okay to use just 2 words. He had a blank day at school, a bat day at school, a bad day. And I'm reinforcing the short A here. Again, I had, bad, and even bat. The student has to look at all three letters, and get that ending sound to find the correct word. And just like close, simple sentence, target words abundantly clear and obvious, words that are in students' vocabulary and experience, and keep the sentences on a single line on the PowerPoint. I am blank, you came today. And again, am glad, short A, 2 words. That's it. Tips on creating mays and close for your students.